Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another one of these casual vlogs about things Leica or things Leitz. Today, we're going to have a look at the final lens that I can show you, and it's the final end to looking at the Leitz F2 lenses. We've had a look at the Summar. We've had a look at the Summicron. Sorry, we haven't had a look at the Summicron. We've had a look at the Summitar, and today we're going to have a look at the Summicron. I can't show you any more lenses because I don't have any more lenses. But this particular lens is like the other lenses. This is an early version. This is a collapsible one. So what I'll do is I'll take it off the camera, which you have seen before, and it is loaded with film. I intend to use it at some point when the weather improves a bit. But this is the Leitz Summicron, if it'll focus up there. It's not a bad lens. It's very difficult to find these lenses with absolutely no cleaning marks on the front element at all, because for the simple reason the Leitz glass is soft, at least the ones used in the early ones, because as far as I'm aware, the Summicron is still very much in production, but not a version like this. This one dates from 1955, and when I bought the M3, it came with an Elmar f2.8 lens on it, a very competent lens, but I always fancied having an M3 with the Summicron mounted on the front, and so I went about and eventually I managed to find one at a reasonably affordable price. The Summicron was also available as a screw thread, and it was available in the screw thread mount from 1953 up until 1960, and I think it was 1953 when the lens first went on onto the market. It was designed by Gustav Kleinberg and Otto Zimmermann. By this time, Max Berwick had passed away, and I suppose these two gentlemen were probably working with Max Berwick anyway, so it was probably a natural progression, although that's just me making guesses at that one. They could have been new to Leitz, so you always assume things, but it doesn't necessarily be the case, but they were apparently close associates. I've always seen the Summicron as a development of the Summitar, and I believe the very first versions of the Summicron were actually marked as Summitars, but they had a little asterisk as well engraved onto the lens as well. They consist of a 10-bladed diaphragm, but the lens features click stops, and I'll just lock it into position, and you can't hear them, I don't think, but those are click stops. Not very loud though, and not always that noticeable, but they are there. You can just hear them. I can just about hear them anyway. Of course, this lens is getting on a bit, and it's probably never been serviced. So maybe if it was cleaned, maybe the click would be a bit more prominent. But it's definitely there. So let's have a look at it, or let's have a little discussion about its early development. As I've said, 10 blade diaphragm with click stops, 7 elements in 6 groups, minimum focus like the other lenses that we've looked at, 1 meter, and there were a screw and M mounts available. Obviously this one's an M mount. Be nice to have a screw mount one as well, but I don't think that's very likely. Early versions of the lens, as I've said, were actually marked as Summicrons, and if you have one with a serial number below 1050000, these lenses are radioactive because they featured a lanthanum glass which emitted about 20 microsieverts per hour at the front of the lens. But lenses from 1956 onwards are inert. But I'm going to come back to the radioactive ones a little bit later on. There were, of course, many variations of the Summicron in later years, so I'm only featuring details of the early one. And all the information, again, I've gleaned off the internet, so it's all there in the public domain. And so what I've basically done is search the net, and just to see how much detail I can find. I can't show you any examples of photographs I've taken with it. I haven't used this M3 a lot, but the photographs that are, shall I say, worthy of looking at were taken when the camera had its original Elmar fitted to it. I think I've got some files somewhere taken using the camera with this particular lens fitted to it, but they weren't particularly spectacular photographs, so it doesn't really show the potential performance of the lens. Now, this particular one I bought off eBay. It was one of my better purchases. And I'll say, like a lot of these earlier Leitz lenses, the glass is a little bit soft, and it's very difficult to get hold of one with no cleaning marks. And there are actually a few on this, but I don't think they're going to show up that well. And it certainly doesn't seem to affect the lens's performance. Again, what I assume is a single coating, which I think was standard on all the early collapsible Summicrons. Now, going back to the glass, I think I've probably covered all the little things I wanted to say about the lens in general. I'll have a quick scan through my notes. Yeah, I think so. What is interesting, and I only found this out purely by accident, is that, as I understand it, at this point in time, the early 50s, and it may be the case now, I don't know, but Leitz normally bought I presume they bought them as optical blanks from a German company called Schlott. That's SCHOTT. But the Leitz company wanted to experiment with lanthanum glass, and at the time Schott didn't make any, and so rather interestingly they bought glass from a British company. It was a very, very well-known British company, and their base used to be probably about 12 miles from where I'm sitting. The company was called Chance Brothers, and they were based in West Smethwick, which is close to the borders with Birmingham. And they were world renowned for various types of glass. In fact, they manufactured lenses for lighthouses, all sorts of things. And they were based, as I said, in West Smithwick, in the West Midlands. Lanthanum is, if you like, less, as I understand it, less radioactive than thorium. But thorium thorium started to appear in glass probably a little bit later on. And it's used to improve the light transmission of glass. And it was used in very early versions of the Summicron. And I would imagine if you happen to have one of those, then you could probably have quite a valuable lens. So really that's the sort of history of the lens. I'm just having a little quick look along down my notes to make sure I've more or less included everything. And yeah, I think I have. The glass was also known as LAK9, and eventually I believe it must have become available from Schlott or Schott eventually. But when they wanted the glass in the early 50s, Schlott went manufacturing the glass. And it's interesting that they came to Chance Brothers to get early samples. So, as I said, I can't really find any photographs to show you as a comparison, but I can tell you that it's in quite good condition cosmetically, and it's optically as well. And I don't know whether you can see the blades from there, but they're in quite nice condition as well. As I've said, I don't use the M3 a lot, and that's I've decided to give it some exercise, so it's got film at the moment. So I'm just having another very quick look down the notes. I think I've gone all through the technical bits. The screw mount was available from 53 up until 1960. I think I've mentioned that though. But anyway, that's that's really it as far as the lens itself is concerned. And of course, if you bought an M3 with the Summicron, you were buying the most expensive option, and purely by chance, I can't remember where I got this from, but I found this somewhere on the internet, and it's, as you can see, it's an advertisement for the City Sale and Exchange Limited Company, who were based in Fleet Street, also on Cheapside, London EC2, and another branch in London EC3. And this list is from about 1960, and I say that because I don't know whether you'll be able to see this, but it talks about a blue book which this dealer must have supplied, and I'd love to get hold of a copy. And it says the 1960-61 edition of our justly famous blue book has been increased in size to cover 200 pages with hundreds of illustrations of the latest apparatus out now, and it's priced 2 shillings post-paid. And they said that this is the finest 2 bobs worth photographic market information. It'd be lovely to get hold of one of those. But what I wanted to show you, and this probably won't show up that well, but this company was selling many different types of cameras, from Rolleiflexes to Leicas and Contraflexes and 1 or 2 other cameras. And the interesting bit is actually got the prices. Now these prices, of course, for 1960 or 61 thereabouts, but I won't go through the whole list. But if you bought your Leica M3 with the Summicron, which is effectively what we've got here. In 1960 or 61, that would have cost the grand total of £158, 18 shillings. If you wanted to save a bit of money, you could have the same camera but with the f2.8 Elmar lens, which I've mentioned, and that came in a little bit less at £130, what looks like 8 shillings and 8 pence, although I can't swear to that, but I think it's probably about that. Or you could save a bit more money and have a Leica M2 with the Summicron F2 for £138, 8 shillings and 6 pence. I know this isn't going to make much sense to people who aren't native to the UK, and I really can't sort of do a mental conversion into dollars, but it just gives you some idea of the prices. But then obviously people earned far less money then, so these were no bargains. But it's a great pity, isn't it, that we can't travelling back in time with the wherewithal we've got now and buy some of these cameras. That would be great, wouldn't it? But I mean, obviously, that's a pure dream. Also, you could buy the Leica 3G. Now this is 1960s, so that would have been the final year of production of the Leica 3G. Now a body only for a 3G, £65, 17 shillings and 2 pence. The 3G with the Elmar F2.8, I think it looks like £88, 11 shillings. A 3G with a Summicron, £116, 19 and 9 pence. So we may as well say £117 for that one. Or you could have a Leica M1 body only for what looks like £54, 18 shillings. Now that's the basically the stripped down camera for scientific use, I think. But there's also other cameras as well listed here. There's a Rolleiflex 2.8e at £127, 11 shillings. There's the Rolleiflex 3.5 at £119, and a Rolleiflex T for £75. There's also a Rolleicord, which is the less expensive version of the Rolleiflex camera, which came in at £46, 5 shillings and 11p. Or if you fancy the Hasselblad 500C, £242, 4 shillings and 9 pence. Of course, I'm assuming that would have been body only. So yeah, what else is there? I don't know anything about the Contaflex, but there's also there's a Bessomatic here, which if you had with the f2.8 colour Scopar, was nearly £100, which strikes me as being rather expensive. But we have to remember that the cameras like this would have been bought by, I think, mainly by professional photographers. But it's just quite interesting to look down that list. It does give you an idea of what things were like 60 years ago or thereabouts. So that really, I've just shown you that. I thought you might be a bit of interest. So that's really the Summicron. This is the final upload, as I've said, about my f2 lenses, and this will be the last one, literally, because I don't have any others to show you. In fact, I don't even know what my next upload is going to consist of. But what I would like to do, and I should have done this right from the start, and it was my intention. But the funny thing is, as soon as I start recording these, or everything goes out of my head, it's quite ridiculous, really. But I would like to welcome new subscribers. Since the last upload I did, I think there's probably 5 or 6 of you. You'll know who you are, and I would just like to say, thank you very much for subscribing, and I hope you have looked at some of the other vlogs that I've done over the time as well. I do appreciate that. If you've got any comments to make, or if you can rectify anything that I've said that could easily be wrong, then please do. But again, anyway, thank you very much for taking the trouble to subscribe. I'm just quickly looking down my notes, and I think, as I said, I've covered everything. One thing that's just crossed my mind actually is I must get a mount to mount this on some of my digital cameras, and like to see how well it performs. I've been really amazed at the quality that these lenses, not just the Summicrons, but all of the lenses are capable of producing on digital cameras. Quite amazing, and it does give you a good idea of their capabilities. I think they always give rather an interesting. What can I say? There's something very different about using old lenses on digital cameras. That's not what the subject's about, I know, but it literally just crossed my mind. So anyway, I think that's it. Thank you for your time, and I'll speak to you very soon. I'll have to think up some sort of new subject. I was thinking along the lines of how to easily recognise different Leicas from a sort of a shop window type situation. I don't know. If you've got any ideas, maybe put those down and I'll consider them. The problem is I'm sort of running out of material, really. I'm definitely running out of Leica cameras. I've got other cameras, but I don't know whether people would be of any find those of any interest. But anyway, once again, thank you, and I'll speak to you soon. So it's bye-bye for now, and thanks again, all new subscribers, and I'll speak soon.